we're going to talk about all 3 games. I just have a whole list of notes. Can I just go through it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
And this is, you're starting at the first Pittsburgh game.
No, this is just a combination. You know what the problem is with this team is that the performance they gave last night and the performance they gave on Tuesday is the same freaking thing. And then the performance they gave on Wednesday was a joke. It was a literal joke.
So before you go, though, let me just mention this. So for ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, Alex actually got onto, what is it, Leafs Laughs Live? I've never heard of the show.
Laugh, Leafs.
That's a fantastic title, by the way.
I know.
And you were very calm, cool, and collective on that. You made some really good points.
I know.
You got kudos from them, but now I feel like you're really about to let
explode.
rip here.
So last night, they played the Hurricanes, lost 6-3.
Allowed 50 shots.
Allowed 50 shots. How? Okay, here's what I said. I did the voicemail, DM, whatever. They listened to it. And I was talking about the team is fooling us. The team is literally saying, hey, you know what? We'll play good for one game. Just to trick the fans into thinking we're good.
I don't mean to laugh, but I love that thing. We're going to trick the fans into thinking we're good.
What is it? What is the point? They don't look like they care. And it's just, oh my God. Like Tuesday, we recorded the podcast Tuesday night, which I wish we did it. I wish we did it Wednesday, because I would have ripped this team apart Wednesday too. Mm-hmm. I watched the part of the first period while I was editing the podcast. I'm like, man, this is a joke. Then I get a call from my friends. Want to go out? You bet your ass I'm going out. I can't. I'm not gonna sit here and watch this.
And then I think I texted you the Teddy Bluger scored, and you just
called
explode.
me.
I called you.
You called me and said, you're like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, yeah, I know it's 4-0. Go, no, it's 5. I'm like, great. Who scored? Teddy Bluger. That guy's not real. And to sit there and tell and if you're on Twitter telling someone that there's one issue, you're clueless. You're clueless. There's a million issues with this team. Okay, currently, minus Thursday, because that was a joke. Offensive performance is average, defense is subpar, and Freddie is struggling.
He has not been good.
But to blame it on one specific thing, to sit there and say, Freddie's not been good. The rest of the team's been garbage. They don't look like they care. They literally don't. They need to wake up. They have to wake up. It's like they don't understand what the implications are.
And a lot of this, by the way, not caring. It says something when you get... A big point was made in that first Penguins game that if getting Malkin off the ice, and the Leafs just couldn't do anything. When Pittsburgh had just lost one of the best players in the league. And then, of course, you go to Carolina. Your minor league team's Zamboni driver is now in net. Now, you get 2 in the second, but then you fall apart in the third. You can score at will versus this guy if you wanted
Matthews
to.
should have had a hat trick.
Yeah.
You have 3. We'll take Nylander out. 3 of the best players in the NHL, and you couldn't, let alone score. You couldn't get a puck on net. I don't care how good Carolina's defense last night. You have 3 of the best players in the NHL. You have William Nylander. You have everyone else, and you couldn't get a puck on net, let alone score a goal. It was a joke.
It was beer league.
It was a joke. And I said it before, the team has no identity. I thought, we've been complaining about this identity thing since game 1, and you were going to have an identity, after 20 games. That's when a team gets their identity. Did you listen to the 15 minute whatever clip from Overdrive?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so Jeff O'Neill, apparently, this is what he said on his way to work, was calling people that worked in teams for the NHL. This is what they said. If the team doesn't turn over the puck or take the other team doesn't turn over the puck or take penalties, what else are the Leafs going to do?
By the way, I don't mean to interrupt you here, but I thought you'd be a little sour, so I thought I'd bring something sweet, and I want to give you a caramel bar.
Thank you. I'm a little sour.
So, I did see this, yes.
that.
And it's a good point because the Leafs have made a point of saying our power play is our toughness.
I don't care anymore. You know what Brian Hayes said in the same clip?
What?
They have the exact same style of play regardless of the score and regardless of who they play. You cannot, under any circumstances, go down 5-0. I don't care who you're playing. You're supposed to be a contending team. This is what you're telling us, that you're a contending team. And you go down 5-0, and then we start trying.
When Matthews scored in the Leafs' second goal, a part of me said, oh no, they might do this.
I don't care. It's ridiculous. Last night they were down 4-1, then they were down 6-3, and then lost the game 6-3. You can't go down like this and then start trying, because in the playoffs, when you go down 4-0 to the Boston Bruins, you're not scoring any goals. Zero.
They have
Zero.
We talked about this term a lot. They have the killer instinct. When they want to, they shut a game down and win. By the way, just quick thing, the Bruins got murdered last night.
They did.
But that doesn't happen often, so it's not like...
And I'm going to say this again.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm going to say this
keep
again. It's all about... Say it with me. It's all about the details. Stop trying to play this BS beer league shinny crap turnover game.
What was it they said on that show? Trying to beat every defenseman before trying to get on the highlight reel?
Yeah, you don't have to make the perfect goal. I promise you, if you score cross-ice passes every single time, score off those passes, I'll be perfectly fine. You don't have to dangle everyone.
It's not NHL 20.
It's not NHL 20. It's not your local beer league. It's not a random game of shinny on outdoor ice. Put the puck in the net. I don't care how you do it. No one cares how you do it. When I go back and say Austin Matthews scored 60 goals, I don't care how he scored 60 goals. He scored 60 goals. I don't care.
What was the Ovechkin said? I don't care if it's empty netter or anything. A goal is a goal.
A goal is a goal. Last time I checked, a goal is a goal.
A concussion is a concussion.
Yeah.
Science.
Science. And can I just tell you this quote from Marner?
Sure.
This is from Tuesday night. We all know we have the skill, but we don't have the work ethic every single night, with every single guy buying in. Skill only takes you so far, and then the work ethic takes you to a whole other level. That's something we need to be consistently better with. This is a copy of a quote, literally, that you could say, okay, you know what? We're going to take this quote and we're going to put it for Thursday night.
That's every Leafs game.
Last night, the guy came out with basically the same quote. The only difference was, instead of work ethic, it was willpower.
Willpower?
Not will. Maybe it wasn't willpower. Will something. I don't remember. Stop telling me about the work ethic. I don't care. You're NHL players. You should already be busting your ass off every day. Like, it's amateur hour. It's amateur hour. It's literal amateur hour. I could go back to 2012, 2013, whatever. If I wanted to hear them say the same thing, I'll go watch a Dion Phaneuf interview. Because he was saying the same thing 8 years ago.
And that's when they were
garbage. They somehow made the playoffs. It doesn't matter. Dubas can go do whatever he can go bring in Alex Pietrangelo. Somehow. This team is going to still get smacked in the playoffs, smacked and slaughtered in round 1 by Tampa and Boston. They don't have an identity. And let me remind you, this isn't anything like Columbus. If anyone thinks that, they're going to do what Columbus did, they're mistaken. That team had an identity. That team would go bust their balls every single night.
Scratched and clawed their way in, knowing that their biggest pieces were all leaving.
Yeah. Like, the skill, like, I don't care about the skill. I know you guys are skillful. Don't tell me that you have to change your work ethic. Do it. I'm tired of hearing it. Just do it.
It's very frustrating because you always hear that the guys who come into the league and are all skill. So, those first rounders that never seem to work out, that they come in, they don't change the way they're playing because their game doesn't adapt, right? And you either sink or swim. You're like Sam Bennett, who adjusts his game and survives, or anyone else, right? And the thing with the Leafs is their players, like Mitch Marner and that, like Mitch Marner has been said to be the next Patrick Kane at points. They're going to be the next generation of players that go like, I was a Mitch Marner fan growing up. The skill, all this. But then it's like these are players that, in the London Knights, for a fact there were times where Mitch Marner could take a game or two off. He was just that good.
Yeah, but the thing is you said it's junior, right?
Yeah.
That's something that happens in junior. But you come to the NHL and realize you're not playing against some guys who are going to make the NHL and some guys who, they got drafted into the CHL but really aren't going to turn out. Now you're playing against grown-ass men who have made the NHL and are busting their ass every night.
And they're good enough. Marner's a 90-point guy. Matthews can score 50. He probably scores 50 a bunch more times, except because, the shoulder injuries he's had in the past few years. Right. Tavares, incredible. And it's just, I can't imagine what it's like as a Leafs fans to see that they have all this potential and they just continue to fall apart.
That's been the issue since the beginning of the year. Listen, Mike Babcock was saying these things 3 years ago. And listen, I'm not going to sit here. I'm not promise you right now.
He had his own things.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Mike Babcock should be the coach.
Usage and all that aside.
There's a whole other set of issues. And, if you want to go back, listen to the Babcock fired episode, the Emergency Podcast. I'm sitting here telling you that the same problem that Babcock had is the same problem that now Sheldon Keefe has. And I don't know who to blame. Because if you think that, because I've seen this take on Twitter. If you think that if we still had Babcock and Lou, that we'd be a better team.
No.
Leo Komarov would be a Maple Leaf still on a ridiculous contract. William Nylander, Matt Martin, perfect. William Nylander probably would have been traded for pennies, and I don't even know if Mitch Marner would be signed. And again, John Tavares would not be a Maple Leaf.
No.
5 things right there.
It's 100% on the players now. Because
that's the issue. That's the issue I have.
Because Dubas has made his moves, and Sheldon Keefe is now using the players as they were always meant to be played. You don't have Spezza playing 30 minutes a night or a Game 7 last few minutes, right?
The issue here with what I had is, yes, this team, this is solely on the players. Solely, okay, not 100%. There's obviously blame. There's always blame on the coach, always blame on the GM. But I go on Twitter after the game and it's fire Dubas. Man, the guy brought in players. The guy brought in John Tavares. The guy literally had to somehow get rid of Patrick Marleau. The guy somehow had to get rid of Nikita Zaitsev.
I'm going to bring up the pictures I sent you of what was trending last night on Twitter. It was...
Let the players take the accountability instead of automatically going to the GM. This is why the team's been garbage for 4 years, because everyone's been blaming the coach, and now they fired the coach, and now you're going to the next person.
Keefe, fire Dubas, # embarrassing, emergency goalie, all the stuff that was trending on Twitter last night.
It's ridiculous. It's a joke.